Hi everyone, it's Sandy Clarkson here with an unboxing video for My Creative Scrapbook, and we're going to be unboxing the March limited edition kit. And if you recall, My Creative Scrapbook has 4 different types of kits, with the limited edition kit just being one of the 4. And the distinction with the limited edition kit is that we have dimensional flowers in the kit every month, and also the papers and the collection tends to be a little bit more towards shabby chic style and that kind of thing. So let's go ahead and look at the flowers first. Well, let me just say that our paper collection this month is going to be the 49 and Market Plume and Petal collection by Dennis Bruton. And so we've got a lot of purple and teals and that kind of thing, you know, in the papers, which we'll be looking at here in just a moment. So knowing that, this little box of flowers here is called the Whitney Paper Flowers in Purple. And there's like navy blue, there's purple, like medium purple, and then kind of more of a bluish gray color. And these are going to go really great with the collection. And then there's little bits of sparkle on them, which is nice because in the ephemera, there are pieces that have kind of that gold foil on it, if you will. And so that will work nicely. And this is a, I was looking for how many pieces in there. I don't think it, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So at least 10 flowers. And then here we have a pack of, you know, a little cluster of florals, and then the little single posies, along with some leafy-like stems. And these are called the Rooney Shabby Chic Bouquet. And it says it's 23 pieces, you know, which counts off your little small ones and your leaves. But these, you can leave this color, or you can colorize them, you know, with your sprays and inks, whatever, to be, you know, more what you want to match with your photos or documents that you're scrapping. This third pack is also Little Birdie, and these are little clustery rosebuds, and they're called English Roses Fairy Garden. So there's 6 of those, 2 purple, 2 green, a pink, and a cream. So lots of florals to play with. And then I've gone ahead and I emptied this, but this is the 69-piece ephemera and frame pack. You know, and I've already removed these elements, and we'll look at those here at the end of the video. But it's full of frames, lots of frames, and tabs, measuring tapes, all things that you would think about or consider in dressmaking, if you will, or sewing, that kind of thing. And then, of course, there's some bits and pieces here that you can fussy cut to use as your own elements. There's a little hourglass down here, just kind of showing the passage of time. Some heels. And so I've not been using these to design with so much because I really like referencing this. And so I think what I need to do is start taking a photo of that to have it on hand. Although if you look on the 49 Market website, you can find it and look at it there. So we'll do that here in just a moment. And then I already opened up the laser pack, but we get the laser cut element set, and it says there's 198 pieces, so that's a lot of pieces. As you can see, dresses, florals, a grand piano, and then on the back is some more frames, more vases with kind of like a mosaic design inside. So several little things there that you could cut out and use on your pages. And then I went ahead and opened it up so you wouldn't have to listen to that crinkle. But we'll look at this one first. And we've got this quatrefoil design over here, which I'm just going to call a lattice, that we can kind of mix in with our pages and our elements. Lots of different styles of masks. So if you think masquerade ball as being one example of some kind of formal dance that you would go to. I've got some pictures of the granddaughters that went to a masquerade ball with their dad, and so I might use some of those. This is a grand piano with a stool and the piano bench and like some little fluted glasses, more of the quatrefoil design down here. These are little gems, so I'm just thinking like diamond earrings or solitaires that you might wear to those kind of things. And then violin. Over here we have a couple of different sewing machines. And then this is a tiara, heels, buttons, a handbag, a ring, candlestick, cello, clock, perfume bottle. I'm going to call this a chandelier, but it could be any kind of like fancy light fixture. Again, some fluted glasses, a mannequin with a scarf, a group of candlesticks, an outer frame, a chair and a desk, or a side table, another person, heels and frames, and then little mosaics or, like a brooch, little group of vases there. So all in the purple and teal, colorway. And then, one of my feathers already fell out, but this is your feathers and florals. And so if we open this one up, you can see lots of florals on this side, some florals on that side, but we have some butterflies and dragonflies, buttons, little clusters of flowers, and the little bows. Along here we have a 12-inch strip that you could use on your page as a border. And then the chain strip over here, there's two of them and they're 12-inch. So if you wanted to do a double page spread, then you could have those on your outer edges. Again, dragonflies and single florals, and then little clusters that some have pearls in them. And over here on this side, we have lots of feathers, and we have some like more ivory ones with, a hint of teal or brown, and then these others that have more of the purple teal and brownish gold. This piece right here is a big piece with a circle element, and then which you could use as a frame if you want, and then a big cluster of florals, feathers, and pearls. And then there's that feather that fell out right there. And more different types of feathers and florals and buttons and gems. So there's lots to play with in that. And then next we have our die cut for the month. And this one is a floral design, which is very nice. And you could use it, multiple different angles. You can color this. You can back it if you want with pattern paper. You can leave it white. Also, if you're a Kit Club member, you can go onto our website and get the cut file itself, and then you can cut it with your electronic machine at any size that you prefer, and size it or even alter it however you like. Then we have a stencil by Vicki Boutin, and I like this one in that it's got these linear elements going downward or upward, if you like. So it's kind of a simple design and won't really distract from what else you have going on. But then also there's this diamond pattern. So if you want to mask it off and make it more of the lines, you can do that. Or you can leave the diamond pattern in there. I usually just use sections anyway instead of the whole thing, but you might use the whole thing if you were doing a journal page. So that'll be fun to play with on this with this kit. And then I went ahead and printed out the sketch for the month. And so if you want to use it with the limited edition kit, you can. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to. But it says jumping off point for you to kind of get started. It's just some layers, a photo, title, and then like a journaling strip with a big star, but you could use another element like a floral element or something like that, you know, as that piece. This is by Laura Whitaker from Laura Creates 50. All right, so let's look at the papers. I'm just going to get a sip of water while you look at this one. It's called Glow. There's lots of music notes in the background as media. And then, you know, up here in the upper left, we've got the florals and feathers. And I'm just going to call it a chandelier. And then the strips. And then some white space, if you will, for putting your photographs. And then just lots of neat mixed media design here at the bottom with a little bit of the quatrefoil down here. On the back side of this paper is teal, and then there's pattern in the background. And Dennis thought this would pair well with the idea of dresses and dressmaking and that kind of thing. So, you know, this little piece looks like a bodice that even says, no, it says stitching. I thought it said simplicity. This looks more like a skirt, part of a skirt, a collar, whatever. But you could use this as layers or as your main background if you wanted to. There are some like silhouettes of some people over there on that side. Also, Dennis has added quotes to the papers on the branding strips. This one says, "The most beautiful glow comes from a heart of happiness and self-acceptance." So there's that one. This one is called Shine. It's just beautiful. It would pair very nicely with the other one if you wanted to do a double page spread. They would probably kind of work together. But we've got the florals and feathers down in this corner now, along with, you know, a purple gown on a mannequin. And we've got the pearls mixed in and the feathers. And then, of course, there's music notes. There's something that looks like sand. Of course, we have an hourglass as part of our elements, so that might be what that represents. A little bit of light quatrefoil up there. And then on the back, we've got this really neat paper. I'm not sure how I'm going to use it, but we have some kind of like canvasy edges, but it's silhouettes of people. These all appear to be women, but not necessarily. So, you know, I think that somebody's going to come up with a great way to use this design, but you could still use it as a layering piece, even if you just wanted to not emphasize that it's people, you know, or use it as a border. But it'll be fun to see what people come up with in terms of how to use that. Oh, the little saying is, "Be unapologetically you. That is where your greatest joy and beauty lies." And then this one is called Sparkle, and we've got a large frame type element in the center with mixed media around on the edges, even mixed media within. So that would be fun for just a central photograph right there. That frame would already draw your eye into the photo. So fun to work with, a little bit of quatrefoil design there. And on the back, we've got, you know, all of our florals and feathers mixed in. So you may or may not want to use this as a background page, but it would be great for layering, you know, taking a section of it and using it for half your page, using it at a diagonal, using it as a border, or as your matting, you know, for your pictures. Just lots of different ways to use this. And this one says, "The universe created something wonderful when it created you. Never forget that." All right, this one is called Radiant. And on this side, we've got lots of 3x4s that you could cut out. They're kind of faded out, and so they're not real distinct, but they're distinct enough that you can cut them out. Or you can just use the full 3x4 with the whited outlines. So it's always neat to have, you know, note cards and that sort of thing. They've got lines in them, so great for journaling and that kind of thing. On the back, this is one of my favorite papers, and it's like fabric or draperies, you know, if you think theater and that kind of thing. And it's got these little dangling down, you know, starry gem type things. And I have used this paper. It's really gorgeous. I love it. And this is called This is the Beautiful Process of Finding Joy While Becoming the Person I'm Meant to Be. So I really like both sides of that. One of those dilemma pages. All right, this one is called Happy. And over here on the left-hand side, we've got layers of what you might call solid colored papers with, you know, a variation here in the center. And then we've got an archway with doors. These look like doorknobs. That's why I'm calling it a door versus a window. And then, you know, these look like foundational, you know, for a building with the archway right there. A little bit of quatrefoil pattern down here. And then on the back side, we've got our full-on quatrefoil design, which is sometimes used as Celtic or Moroccan, that kind of thing. But it does usually lean toward elegant. It's used in home decor sometimes. And so it's, you know, kind of a fancy design, if you will. But this is a very fun paper to use as well. And down here, the quote says, "Finding the beauty in this exact moment is my favorite kind of happiness." All right, then this one is called Smile. And it's just got lots of mixed media on the edges, your notes, music, you know, notes. And then we've got feathers. We've got a mask here already. So if you've got those kind of pictures or Mardi Gras pictures, you know, this would be a fun paper to use, I think. On the back, we've got our wood planks of various colors. I like that there's something more rustic or masculine for kind of grounding of all the more fancy elements. So I'm particularly drawn to this paper. It's got kind of a light lavender, almost a pink. And then I think pulling in the navy is also a great idea. The new Dress Blues from 49 Markets, released with Ranger, pairs really nice with this collection too. The quote at the bottom says, "Growth is a beautiful process, even when it feels like a painful one." So, and I love, love, love this paper. Janine, the owner of 49 Market, doesn't allow faces, at least not at this point in time. But she okayed this illusion of a woman over here without a face. And, you know, she's dressed in, looks like more, you know, like an earlier time period than now, like maybe back in the 20s or something. Just a fancy dress. You can see little roses or florals, you know, on her shoulder and around the hips. But I think this is kind of a fun and exciting challenge to figure out how to use this and really take advantage of that silhouette there. And on the back, this is also a really neat side. It's, you know, your collage style paper that we see a lot with 49 Market and others. But, you know, the bingo cards, you know, the song sheets, that kind of thing. It's great for using as layers under your focal area and that kind of thing. The phrase down here is, "The world needs your unique sparkle. Don't ever dull it down." And then this, I forgot to flip it over. This is your collection pack side. So this is your, whoops, wrong one. This is your bonus sheet, and it's teal and has the quatrefoil shape in the background. And the bottom says, "Collecting the beautiful pieces of my journey and gluing them together with happiness." Isn't that fun? I like that quote a lot. So this is a bonus sheet, but I like the inclusion of the teals along with all the purples. And then this is a fun one called Joy, and it's just kind of a mix of different patterns. This almost looks like an envelope or a pocket. But there is a little measuring tape in here that, you know, you could use some kind of way. And then feathers in the quatrefoil pattern along the edges. So, but this makes a great area to, you know, think about putting your primary photo, if you will, and then going from there, or fussy cutting this measuring strip and using it. And then I love, love, love this sheet of paper right here. You know, it's the back side of Joy, and it's just the music on this beautiful deep purple along with some other shades along the corners. And down here it says, walk with the confidence of someone who knows their worth. So that is all the papers. This is to help with dulling down the shine. I went ahead and opened up the die cut ephemera. If you've forgotten what I'm talking about, it is, what did I do with it? I think I put it over here. But, oh yes, I put it up here, you know, in a safe place. This is our ephemera and frames, and I've just kind of stacked them into category. Let's go up here first. These are all your frames, and there are lots of frames this time around. Lots of square ones. Here's a little gold foil design, and you're going to find that on lots of the ephemera. And then, as you know, inside we've got various pieces. So we've got, you know, another frame. We've got like a button, and then this element that you could throw away or you could figure out how to use. So, you know, and you can pull that one out, and then there's your, you know, square frame. And then this one, the inside already fell out, but this is, you know, using that wood grain, the wood planks, but it has this fancy gold foil over here, and again, a frame and a button. And then this one is more of a it's more of a rectangle, but inside it's got an oval frame. Then there's like a pendant inside. And then this one is, this one fell out. This is a nice big frame in a rectangle shape. And then this little note card that was within it. And it says memory, so it must have actually been sitting that way. So I will eventually move that to my note cards pile. These are very similar, if not exactly the same. They're purple with the oval inside and the little gem, the pendant in the inside. And this one says remember, and it's a nice big frame, rectangular. You can pop this out and have your little note card right there. And then these two are very similar, are all similar, that are a white frame. And then like on the inside of this one, you've got a measuring tape piece to use, you know, as part of your embellishments. And then there was a button there. So that one, and then this one also has a measuring tape and a button on the inside. And then these are little floral pieces. So I like that 49 Market uses the inside instead of just using it, leaving it white. Then we've got a couple of doors. This one's a smaller one, and it's, you know, very rustic looking, European looking or whatever. But it's a fun element to use in your designs. Then this one, I haven't punched out all the little panes, but it's a doorway. Almost looks like a window, so you could use it however you want. And you can do your photograph on top, or you could do it behind, because once you pop all of these out, you're going to be able to, you know, see through the panes. So it's a nice large element to use on your page. Then we have our, I call them date strips, but they're just blank tags with some gold foil. There's a heart, the quatrefoil or lattice work, and so different shades of purple, you know, so they're great for putting the names of the people in your photos and that kind of thing. Then we have our little tabs that we often see with 49 Market. And some of them have little hearts, but they're light and dark purple. Then we have 3 little tickets down here. Kind of a taupe colored one, a blue one, and a purple one, dark purple. So those are fun. Then we've got the larger strip of tickets here that say admit 1. So you can use these together, or you can tear them apart if you want, or cut them apart. Yeah, you'll have to cut them apart because they're not perforated. But the admit 1 is in that gold foil, and hope you can see that on camera. And then this is a measuring tape in purple. Goes up to 6 inches, so that's fun. And then we have some buttons that have fallen out. All right, so I've made a pile here for our various little note cards, if you will, of different sizes. So we've got 4 of like little mini tags, and these are lined as well as, you know, having decor on them. This one has a crown. And so really pretty for either tucking behind your photos or actually using as a journaling spot if you want. Lots of different ways to use those. Then we have our bingo cards, one in blue, one in purple, and with different numbers on them. So you could use them if you circle your dates or numbers if you want to indicate a date and that kind of thing. And then we've got some of the smaller note cards. This one's more shaped and plain. This one's pretty decorative with writing and the foil on the edge. And this one's just almost kind of like a mirror image of that, more of a postcard style. And then we've got some little bit larger ones, but these are all pretty much around 3x4, I would say. So that one's got lines. This one's more ledger with cherish in the corner there. Of course, it's got the foil on it. This one's in that dark purple that I like. And it's got Blessed Assurance, one of my favorite songs. And then the foil, there's the finger on the side. And then a measuring tape on this blue one. There's numbers right down here and a large foil, you know, imprint right there. And then we go to our larger ones. These are a little bit more 4x5 or 6. And this one is got florals here. It's got that little saying of let your unique light shine so brightly the world can see it. And it says good times. There's a pretty dragonfly. So just really beautiful pieces. And this one says making memories. It's got the florals along the side with the foil. And then this one's more like a map with the foil, the quatrefoil up here with the colored, and then this is more the outline of it, and then the plumes here in our corner. So I think that's all of everything that is in this pack, you know, outside of what you can also cut out from the pack. You know, these are different gowns than what is on the papers themselves or in the elements. So these might be ones you'd really want to draw on, as well as the hang bags, just all of it. But then you do lose what you have, you know, in your packet, but that's okay because you have what you can use right there. But when you're referencing where an element came from, this is a good thing to use. So I think that about wraps up the kit. Oh, I also got, and I haven't asked Pam yet if this is coming in your kit or not, but I got a distress mica stain and crooked broomstick. Like I said, I need to see whether it's included in the kit or not, as it was kind of taped on the outside of my package. But I did spray it, and it's like a medium gold. Of course, this was just, you know, paintball type spraying, but because it's that mica, it does have some shimmer to it and would work really nicely with, you know, like in matching all the little gold elements that are in the kit. So I think that wraps it up for today. There's lots to work with. I'm excited to see how everybody's going to use these, the kit, and you know, adding in the flowers, which are just so beautiful, the stencil, and there's lots to play with this month. So anyway, have fun, guys, and I will talk to you on the next video. Bye-bye.